I was working with the regular court system, I was working with the prison system, and I was working with the police system. I was not involved in the Saddam Hussein trial. A lot of people thought that I was, but I was not. But I was invited to go watch the trial one day, and it's a day I'll never forget. It was in January, February of 2006 when I was invited, as best I can recall. And so I was invited to the trial. I went into the courtroom, or the courthouse, I should say. Very, very high security building. It's secured by the United States military, secured by the United States Marshal Service, and secured by Iraqi forces. So I go into this very high security building, top state-of-the-art security, cameras everywhere, cameras in the cells of the defendants, cameras in the hallways, cameras outside, very high tech. I'm given a quick tour of the building. Then I'm taken to a viewing area, kind of a viewing room that was elevated above the courtroom. In the back of the courtroom, we were behind the defendants. The defendants were actually in the middle of the floor of the courtroom in a cage. And you may recall that Saddam had 7 co-defendants in that trial. And so Saddam and the other 7 co-defendants were in that cage in the middle of the floor. To our right were the defense attorneys. To our left were the prosecutors. And in front of us and elevated were 5 judges. And they brought in the defendants one at a time. And some of the defendants would make a statement as they were being brought in. Not all of them, but most of them did. And they brought in Saddam last. And when Saddam came in, Saddam gave quite a performance. I remember he was wearing a black suit, was waving a book around, I'm assuming it was the Quran, and was shouting at the top of his lungs, praise Allah, justice will be done, bless the Iraqi people, God save the Iraqi people, that kind of blusterous talk. And of course it was all being translated into English for our benefit in the viewing room. For the next 4 hours, I saw the most amazing thing I've ever seen called a trial. It's downright bizarre, quite frankly. I've tried probably close to 90 cases in my career. I've been a trial attorney for 25 years. And I've tried hundreds of non-jury matters in court, so I've been in court many a time. I've never seen anything like this. There were 3 witnesses called that day. 2 of them testified from behind a curtain, and their voices were garbled by the microphone technology to hide their voices, I guess, to hide their identity. And during the course of the testimony, several times, Saddam would start yelling at the witnesses. And sometimes they would yell back at him. And then, the judges would start yelling at Saddam, and Saddam would start yelling back at the judges. They tell him to shut up, and he'd start yelling back at them. And it was just crazy, wow. And then this went on and off throughout the whole, it was a morning session. And then toward the end of the session, the judge started praising Saddam. Saddam started praising the judge, telling him he was a wise judge and he knew he was trying to give him a fair trial. And then the judge started praising Saddam, which was absolutely bizarre. And it just kept getting more and more bizarre and surreal as we're sitting there, most of us Americans, watching this trial. After the trial was over for that day, it was about a 4 or 5 hour trial that day. They had 1 recess, I remember that. But then after the trial was over for that day, the head of the U.S. Marshal Service came up in the room very quickly after it was over and gave me a motion and said, "Come here, Max, I want you to come with me." So I went with him, and we went down some stairs out onto the courtroom floor. And I saw them getting the prisoners ready to be brought off the floor and taken off the courtroom floor. And so it became obvious they were going to take Saddam off first. And so they were bringing him toward me. And I realized that they were bringing Saddam in the same direction as where I was standing. And that I was standing between Saddam and the door outside to the courtroom. So as they're bringing him toward me, I'm kind of looking at him, and I noticed a couple of things about him. I noticed he's very mean looking. Very mean looking. And I noticed he's very tall. I'm 6'2", and he was taller than I am. He was either 6'3" or maybe even 6'4". So they're bringing him toward me. I notice how tall he is and how mean looking he is. And as he's coming toward me, I have this voice inside of me that says, hit him. Hit him while he's here. This is your chance to hit this guy. And, hit him now. And this is, I'm going like, I can't, and so the other side of my brain is saying, well, you can't hit him because if you hit him, there's going to be some kind of a ruckus. There's going, somebody's going to get hurt. Somebody may pull a gun out. You're going to get in trouble. You're going to get fired. You're going to get sent home. And so I had this morality play for about 30 or 45 seconds as they're bringing Saddam Hussein right to me. And I'm going back and forth, hit him, no, don't hit him, hit him, don't hit him. And I've never had any kind of urge like that before or since. And so they're bringing him toward me. As he comes by me, I try to make eye contact with him, and he's very aloof. He's kind of got his nose up in the air, and he walks by me, and he sort of refuses to make eye contact with me. He walks right by me. And, of course, I don't hit him. You would have heard about it if I hit him. I did not hit Saddam Hussein, but I did think about it very seriously. And as he was walking by me, and after he got past me, but before he got out of the courtroom, I realized I had blown it, because I realized I could have been very famous. I could have been on the Larry King show, the Sean Hannity show, Oprah show. I could have had a best-selling book, and I blew that opportunity. I hope you enjoy it. I hope you pass it on to your friends and other supporters. Thank you very much for listening.